Hi friends, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this fun card. This is kind of a trellis type card with a fun layout. So many possibilities for this card. So I'm going to point you down to my work surface and get right to it. This was a card that I just did in my Zoom class on Wednesday this morning. And if you'd like more information about those Zoom classes, you can find out all the information on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room. And I give you all the measurements ahead of time so that you can do the card with us. So I'm starting with a piece of Designer Series paper that measures 5 1/4 by 4. And I have 6 strips of paper that measure 1/2 inch by 8 1/2 inches. So I'm going to start by putting my first strip so that it starts at the corner of my paper and goes to approximately the midpoint of my card and of my Designer Series paper. And this strip is just going to be folded all over the top of my Designer Series paper and go down to about there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit of glue. I'm going to turn this around and adhere that strip to my paper, just like so. Don't be concerned if your strip goes off the side of the paper. You can just trim that off afterwards, but you do want to make sure that that strip is laying towards the center of your card, just like so. I'm going to take my next strip and do the same thing. It's a good idea to just kind of do a test layout of these strips to get an idea as to where they're going to fall on your card. So the next one will be just like that. And the next one will go like that. So the third one should be right towards the corner of your Designer Series paper. So I can move these over just a little bit because I want them a little bit closer together. And I want that last one to hit right on that corner. So I'm just kind of changing my angles a little bit. Just like so. And I have found that it's a good idea just to kind of tape those in place with some washi tape, because the only thing that's holding these onto the paper will be the glue that you attach to the back side. So I'm just taking a little bit of washi tape and putting that right across those 3 pieces to hold them in place. And then I'm going to turn this around and use some Tombow glue to adhere those in place. Again, you can kind of move these around and see how they're going to hit at the bottom of your paper. And I like to use the Tombow glue for this because it does give you a little bit more wiggle room with your strips. Okay, those are the first 3 strips. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other 3. I'm going to start towards the center, go to the edge, and just work my way over to the other corner, kind of laying these into place. And these just sit on top of those bottom strips. They don't get weaved in or anything. You could certainly do that for a different effect, but that was not how I did my card. Okay, so I'm just moving these around, make sure my angles are about the same. And what you can do is look at this little triangle down at the bottom and up at the top, and that will give you some idea as to whether or not you're maintaining the right distance between your strips. Mine's a little bit off because my strips are farther apart on the ones that I've already laid down. And the farther you lay them apart from each other, the less of a triangle you'll have at the top and the bottom. Okay, so those look a little bit more even. So this triangle here is about the same as down here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to say anything. Okay, so I'm just putting the washi tape right across the top there just to hold those in place while I turn this around and glue them into place. Just like so. And then turn this back around, and you can leave the washi tape on if you want. If you're going to have embellishments that are going to cover that up, you can certainly do that. So you can see here I have quite a large design on the front that covers up that washi tape. I don't think I even used it on that one, but if I did, it would have been covered up by a lot of those details. So this time I am going to remove that washi tape because my embellishments are a little bit smaller in size. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take these upper strips and just put a little bit of glue on the lower strips to glue those into place. So you can just see I'm putting little marks of glue underneath there and laying that right down on top. For some reason my camera's, I think that's better. You can see a little bit better, more that way. Okay, so I'm just going to lift this strip up, put little dabs of glue down, and lay that strip back down. You want to just make sure that you're not getting glue on any of your designer series paper, because you want this whole section to be able to lift up and down. Okay, so once you glue those together, it gives it a lot more stability, and this lifts up a lot easier than when they're not glued together. Okay, now I'm going to find my scissors, and I'm just going to do some trimming. So I'm just going to turn this on the back side, trim off all this excess. Like so. And then any of this excess that you have hanging over from your strips gets cut off. Just like so. It does look like my strip just moved a little bit, so I lost my angle on the bottom, but I'm not going to worry about it. I don't think anybody's going to care. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and attach this to the card base. And the card base is your standard 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. It's going to go on just like so. So now you can see that that center part still lifts up. You can see that gorgeous designer series paper underneath, and then the white, I'll have a white piece that goes on the inside, like that. So the designer series paper that I'm using is from the mini catalog that goes into effect September 7th. This is that pack here. So it has this black and white image that has these deer on them. And it has this gorgeous paper, all these pretty colors. And the background paper is just as beautiful as the front. Okay, and that is called Winter Meadow Designer Series paper. And then I'm going to use the I'm going to use the Grassy Grove deer and trees along with the dies for my front image. So I'm just going to glue these trees into place. Again, I'm going to make sure that I'm just gluing those on the strips. So I want to see where those are going to cross the strips, and just put some glue down there. So there's a little bit of guesswork here, but as long as you're putting it on the strips and not on the designer series paper, I think you're okay. To raise that up just a little bit. There we go. Go in and attach those tree trunks a little bit. There we go. Put another tree right here. Glue my tree trunks down. Just like so. And then I have the little deer, which kind of mimics the deer that's on the designer series paper itself. And I'm just going to put him right there. I think I'm going to raise those up on dimensionals. And I haven't decided on a greeting for this card yet, so I'm going to have to do that later. Going to put that guy right there. And then I'll put a greeting on this, just like I did on this one. Okay, again, making sure that I'm only attaching it to those pieces of strips so that the card will still open. So you can also add a greeting right underneath here if you'd like, or you can just let the designer series paper speak for itself. But on this one, I also included the designer series paper on the inside just to kind of repeat that design. On this one, I did stamp the trees on the inside. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that quick tutorial. It really is a fun card to make and to give, and something a little bit different. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me on my YouTube channel, or you can message me on Facebook at melindasrubberroom.com, or Facebook, www.facebook.com/melindasrubberroom. If you'd like to make any purchases from Stampin' Up, please feel free to do so on my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. I would be happy if you would support my business. So thank you, and hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.